It's time for Everschool. Welcome back to Cocky Gachas, and in this video we're going to talk about the new Everschool event, in particular the Student Council Secretary election portion, and I'm going to touch on both the stages as well as the rewards and what you can expect to get from this event. So first things first, we're going to take a look at the stages, and you might think that this is something like the dual gates, but in fact it is not. You do not require to clear both of these stages. You can see there's a Lindsay stage, there is also a Claire stage, so they are actually separate stuff. You don't have to clear them both. You can choose to do either the Lindsay one or you can choose to do the Claire one, and depending on which one you clear, right, you can see the rewards here would differ. You can get the Lindsay stickers and also the Claire stickers depending on which one you clear. So if you want to get more of the Lindsay rewards, you will go for Lindsay. If you want to get more of the Claire rewards, you also go for Claire. Now I want to talk about the stages first. You can see right here I've cleared up to stages or stage 5, and that is because we are given 5 tries per day, and here it did show that we can buy additional challenges, but I would prompt you guys to not go for this first. I'm going to explain to you guys why later. So the first thing is that you only can unlock the next stage, right, as usual, after you have completed the previous stage. So meaning you definitely have to clear once of each stage if you want to clear stage 10. So you have to clear 1 to 9 first. However, one thing to note is that if you were to clear stage 2, or rather clear stage 1 in the Lindsay event and unlock stage 2, you wouldn't unlock stage 2 on the Claire event. So you do have to spend separate attempts on each of this stage to get the rewards, and you do get first clear rewards for clearing all of these stages. So I would definitely recommend you guys to clear the stages for both Claire as well as Lindsay to the highest difficulty that you can clear, right? If you really don't want to focus on Claire items in her Claire shop, then definitely you can focus the rest of your efforts on clearing or farming Lindsay stages. However, getting the first clear is going to be very valuable given that there are Everstones to be had. Another thing to note here is that by using the Lindsay on the Lindsay stage and also the Claire on the Claire stage, you're going to get the benefits over here. For now, I'm not too sure if the buffs are going to change each day, but if they don't, I do think that the buff isn't the most significant thing, I would say, compared to previous like Valentine's Day event. Those buffs are much crazier, right? And you can also see on the difficulty charts over here, if I remember correctly, stage 7 for Valentine's event was 330k difficulty. Meanwhile here the highest stage 10 is 357. So generally I do think people will be able to clear further, although if you're a brand new beginner you probably can't clear stage 10. I would say mostly you will land under probably stage 8 at the minimum, right, at the end of this event. So this is something to take note of. The exact difficulty itself I cannot really give you guys a gauge because I haven't attempted these stages, and also I do think that my units are a bit too high level for me to have an accurate gauge on how strong these units truly are. So you guys will have to test it for yourself. I do find it quite doable. If you've been playing since like week 1, week 2, or even week 3, I do think a stage 10 shouldn't be a problem for you guys. So as much as possible, just try to clear the highest stage that you can and farm those rewards based on which unit that you want. Now the next thing I'm going to touch on is the event shop, which is really different this time around. Like I've mentioned, given that there is now the Claire stage and the Lindsay stage, the shop is being split into 2. So the first one you have is the Claire shop. Of course, all the things are somewhat relevant to Claire, and especially the costume over here that you can see for Claire, and also the duplicate for Claire, while the Lindsay shop is focused on Lindsay with the Lindsay costume and also the Lindsay dupe. But one thing that you have to note, or we have to note, is that the Lindsay and the Claire dupes have been reduced to 1 available copy. I do feel like the devs are going to try to go towards the route of having us clear the shop now, because previously people have complained that we can't clear the shop, this game is pay to win because we can't clear the shop, so on and forth. And now you guys got your wish, right? Instead of having more dupes that you can have the option of exchanging, now you're going to have no choice but to only exchange 1 Claire dupe, and definitely you are going to be able to buy, of course, the costume and of course all this furniture, right, if you clear a decent high stage. And this is a similar case for Lindsay as well. And also just to note that there is a lack of dupes, I feel, because previously in the flower event we did have 4 dupes, right, that we could buy in the shop. Of course we can't clear 4 dupes. Even me myself, I cleared 3 dupes, and also the free login bonuses gave us I remember 1 dupe of Clara and 1 dupe of Haru. So technically we got 5 epic units. Here we only had 2, but it's going to be compensated by this Everschool prize machine I'm going to touch in a subsequent video. But even then, I do think that the rewards itself is not as lucrative when it comes to dupes, but in other aspects I do think they are trying to compensate with that, and overall I feel that this is a better event, although there is a lack of dupes. So right now on screen, what you guys are seeing is, as usual, the Excel sheet breakdown on the amount of currency you're going to get for the event based on what stage you're going to farm. Unfortunately, I'm not going to do like stage 7, stage 6 and below. I do think that most people should be able to farm stage 8 and above, which is why I did for stage 8, stage 9 as well as stage 10. So how do you read this is very simple, right? Basically what it means is that if you are capable of farming stage 8, you are going to have a total of 14,945 event currency throughout the event duration itself if you were to play every single day. And similarly for stage 9 and as well as stage 10. So how I compiled this is very simple, right? Just to walk you through the process. Basically how I did this is that I took the event duration and multiplied it by 5, which is the total amount of tries that you are going to get, and that leads to 105 tries, and then reducing the amount by the tries that you have to waste or use on the first clears, and then subsequently the rest of the tries will be used on the stage that you are going to farm. And how I got this number, if you were to farm different stages for different amounts, then it will be a bit more tricky, but I would not account for specific situations. You probably have to do your own calculations for that. But just looking at these numbers, right, you can see if we were to farm stage 8 all the time, we're going to get 15,000. If you farm stage 9 all the time, it's 16,000, and then stage 10 all the time is almost 17,000. But all these values are useless if we don't have something to compare them to, right? So I've also compiled the amount of tokens that you need, or amount of currencies you need to clear the shops. And for Lindsay shop, it's 8,100. For Claire shop, it's 8,150, and for both shops, 16,250. Which means if you were to farm stage 10 all the time, you're going to clear the both shops with tokens to spare. If you were to farm stage 9 strictly, you can't farm stage 10, then you will be lacking a bit, right? 250. And at that point, if you really want to clear it, you probably have to buy some attempts. And just looking at the attempts that you are going to buy, right, it does scale up. So the first attempt is going to cost you, if I'm not wrong, 50 Everstones, and then it starts to escalate all the way up to the 5 additional tries. So if you really want to get all the shop items, I would suggest for you guys to just refresh 1 time per day. In total, you will be allowed 21 refreshes, and it's honestly more than enough. Even if you are farming stage 8 or stage 9, you want to clear the whole shop, it's still enough for you to clear the whole shop just with the first refreshes of the day, right? Instead of tapping into the subsequent more expensive refreshes. And this is basically all that I have for you guys for the Student Council Secretary election segment of the event. However, like I've mentioned, this is not the only part for Everschool. So definitely check out this video over here where I touch on the gachapon system and how exactly it works for you to get even more rewards. I'll see you guys over there. This is Corky Gachas signing off.